Only Thursdays my wife ever left the office early were the ones I didn't know about. I set the bag on Petra's desk. Her office smelled like that vanilla candle she always burned at home. Same mug, same framed photo of our daughter's high school graduation on the shelf. A sticky note on the monitor. Confirm orchids, Saturday. Everything neat. Everything controlled. That was Petra. Nothing out of place, ever. Her computer screen was still on. The calendar app, wide open. Not the company calendar, her personal one. Color-coded, the way she did everything. Blue for meetings, green for personal. And there it was, repeating every Thursday for the past 3 months, in green, Orenburn. No subject line, no location, just a name. Every single Thursday. The receptionist was still at the front desk when I walked out. She waved. Sweet woman. Probably had no idea what she'd just handed me. I got to my truck and sat there for maybe 40 seconds. That's all it took. Not because I'm some kind of machine, but because when you see a pattern that neat, that organized, on a calendar your wife keeps like her life depends on it, you don't need more time. You need a name. I already had one. Orenburn. Now I needed to find out who he was. The Thai food sat on her desk getting cold. She'd find it when she came back from wherever she'd been. Let her wonder. I called Holt from the parking lot. Holt's my foreman. Been working sites with me for 9 years. His wife Donna ran events out of their church, ordered catering for every fundraiser in Bexley County. If anybody knew the food vendors around here, it was Donna. Orenburn, Holt repeated. Yeah, Donna used him for the spring gala last year. Runs a catering outfit, Burn and Feast, office on 3rd Street near the rail crossing. Good food, lousy parking. That was enough. Holt didn't ask why. He knew me well enough to wait. Petra worked as an event coordinator at the Waverly Grand, a hotel that booked weddings, corporate retreats, holiday banquets. A caterer in her calendar made sense on paper. But personal calendar, no details, every Thursday for 3 months didn't look like vendor meetings. It looked like something she didn't want tracked through company systems. I drove past 3rd Street on the way back to the job site, just to see it. Burn and Feast had a small storefront with a chalkboard menu in the window. Across the road, a motel. The Starling Motor Lodge. 2 stories, beige siding. A parking lot half hidden by a fence. Petra's gray Subaru Outback was parked behind that fence. Middle of a Thursday afternoon. 2 blocks from a caterer's office, tucked behind a motel. I pulled over. Took one photo. The car, the motel sign, the timestamp on my phone. Then I drove to the job site and finished my shift. That night, Petra came home at 6:15. Right on schedule. She kissed my cheek, asked about my day, started pulling things from the fridge for dinner. Salmon, asparagus, lemon slices arranged on a cutting board like a magazine shoot. Everything in its place. How was work, she asked. Poured the East Wing Foundation. Came in clean. True. I left out the part about the Thai food. She talked about a vendor issue. Some flower arrangement company double-booked a Saturday wedding. Her voice was relaxed. She laughed once, about a coworker who spilled coffee on a bride's mood board. Petra was good at this. She could segment her life into boxes and close each one without a wrinkle showing. After dinner, she went upstairs to shower. Her phone sat on the kitchen counter, face down. 6 months ago, I would have never touched it. But 6 months ago, I didn't have a photograph of her car at a motel on a Thursday afternoon. The phone was locked. Didn't matter, I didn't need hers. I pulled up the banking app on my own phone. We shared the login, had for years. The joint savings showed a balance about $14,000 lower than what I remembered from January. Small withdrawals, $500 here, $800 there. All transfers to an account I didn't recognize. $11,200. Gone in 4 months. Petra's shower was still running. I set the phone back down, face down, exactly where she'd left it. Friday morning, I called a lawyer. Not a friend, not a guy from church. I looked up a family attorney in Columbus, 40 minutes away. Far enough that nobody in our town would see my truck in the parking lot. His name was Gilman. Young guy, sharp. Took one look at the photo, heard the calendar pattern, and said, "Has she moved money?" When I told him about the $11,000, he didn't blink. First thing, Gilman said, "Redirect your paycheck to a new individual account. Today, I'll freeze the joint savings. And don't confront her yet." The paycheck redirect took one phone call to HR. By noon, my salary was going somewhere Petra had never seen. Gilman filed the freeze before end of business. By Friday night, the joint savings was locked. Petra noticed nothing. She was buried in a corporate gala at the Waverly, her busiest season. Fabric swatches and floor plans spread across the dining table. She barely looked up when I came home. Good. Let her plan. Gilman wanted one more thing before we moved. Give me video, he said. One clean recording. Her, him, the motel. Next Thursday. So the weekend was about waiting, but waiting with a target. I spent those 2 days on the back deck. Rotten boards, new lumber. Holt came by Saturday with his impact driver and a 6-pack. He didn't ask about Orenburn. He just helped me pull nails and stack wood until the sun went down. The next Thursday, I left the job site early. Told my crew I had an inspection across town. Drove to 3rd Street, parked behind a laundromat 2 blocks from the Starling Motor Lodge, and waited. At 12:47, Petra's Subaru pulled into the motel lot. She parked in the same spot, behind the fence, nose facing out, ready to leave fast. 2 minutes later, a black Range Rover pulled in beside her. The driver got out. Tall, gray at the temples, good coat. He opened Petra's door, she stepped out, and they walked into room 14 together. His hand on the small of her back. Comfortable. Practiced. That was Orenburn. And that was Thursday. I filmed 12 seconds of video. Enough to show both vehicles, both faces, the room number, and the motel sign. Saved it. Drove back to the site. That evening, Petra texted me a photo of a table setting she was testing for the gala. Gold chargers, white roses. Thoughts? She wrote. I replied with a thumbs up. She sent a heart emoji. Somewhere between those 2 messages, I forwarded the 12-second video to Gilman. He confirmed what I already knew. In our state, documented infidelity affected the division of marital assets. The 11,000, the motel visits, the pattern, all of it mattered. Petra didn't know about the frozen account yet. She hadn't tried to move money since Tuesday. But she would. And when she did, she'd find out. Thursday again. Petra grabbed her keys off the counter at 11:30, same routine. Purse, jacket, quick check in the hallway mirror. Back by 6, she said over her shoulder. Say hi to Oren for me. She stopped. The keys made a small sound against her ring. She turned around slowly, and there it was, that fraction of a second when a person's face goes completely blank. Not guilty, not scared, just recalculating. What did you just say? I pulled up the photo on my phone. Her Subaru behind the fence, motel sign in the background, timestamp clear. Held it out. Didn't stand up. Didn't raise my voice. Petra stared at the screen. Her jaw tightened. That's not, Wes, that's a venue. We were scouting their patio space for a room 14 isn't a patio, Petra. Her face changed. The confusion act dropped, and something harder came through. She stepped toward me. You followed me? You sat in a parking lot. And, what? Took pictures like some jealous. $11,000, Petra. That stopped her mid-sentence. The anger drained out like someone pulled a plug. The photo she could spin. The money she couldn't. Her eyes shifted, not to me, to the hallway behind me, like she was measuring the distance to somewhere else. The account is frozen, I said. Has been since Friday. Petra set her keys on the counter. When she finally spoke, her voice was flat. How long have you known? Long enough. She didn't crumble. Not yet. Petra pulled a chair out and sat down across from me, like this was a staff meeting that had gone sideways. You went through my phone, she said. Not a question. Banking app. Our shared login. The one you never changed. That's my private. 11,000 from a joint account isn't private. It's theft. That word hit a nerve. Her hands went flat on the table. You followed me? Sat in a parking lot taking pictures? This is insane, Wes. Room 14 at the Starling. Every Thursday. That's what's insane. She picked up her phone and called Oren right in front of me. Her voice dropped low. He knows. He has photos. Don't call me. Hung up before he could answer. The fight drained out of her after that call. Like saying it out loud made it real. She pressed her fingers to her eyes. It was supposed to be temporary, she whispered. I don't need the plan, Petra. She straightened up. What do you want? Gilman is handling the paperwork, I told her. The house stays with me. The 11,000 comes back into the settlement, or Gilman puts it all on record. She nodded once. Then, does Becca know? Not yet. Let me tell her, Petra said. No. She hears it from me. The truth, not your version. Petra picked up her keys, walked to the front door, stopped, turned back. I didn't plan for this to happen. You put it in your calendar, Petra. Every Thursday. She left. Oren called me the next morning, 8:15, while I was driving to the site. A number I didn't recognize, but the voice introduced itself fast. "Mr. Aldrin, this is Oren Byrne. I think we should talk. Talk to your wife first. Then we'll see." His wife's name was Margot. Gilman had already sent a letter to Oren at his business address, Byrne and Feast, 3rd Street. Legal letterhead. The kind of envelope that gets opened by whoever handles the mail. Margot was more than Oren's wife. She co-owned Byrne and Feast, her name on the lease, the contracts, the insurance. Oren was the kitchen. Margot was the business. 3 days after Gilman's letter landed, Margot filed for divorce and demanded a full accounting of Byrne and Feast, every dollar in, every dollar out. Oren's lawyer called Gilman asking to resolve things quietly. Gilman told him that wasn't his client's concern. Holt heard about it through Donna, who heard it from the church fundraiser committee. Margot had already pulled the Bexley County Gala contract. Word travels fast in a town that small. Meanwhile, Petra moved in with her sister in Dayton. She didn't fight the house. She didn't fight the settlement terms. She just packed 2 suitcases while I was at work on a Monday and texted me a photo of her key on the kitchen counter. Same counter where she used to arrange lemon slices like a magazine shoot. Becca drove home that weekend, 5 hours from Columbus. She walked into the kitchen, looked at the empty hooks where Petra's apron used to hang, and sat down across from me. "Tell me," she said. So I did. Not every detail. She didn't need the motel or the money, but enough. Her mother had been seeing someone. It had been going on for months. The marriage was over. Becca didn't cry. She pressed her lips together and nodded, the same way she did when she was 12, and I told her the family dog had to be put down. Processing. Holding it together. "Is she okay?" Becca asked. "She's at Aunt Diane's." "I meant you, Dad." Her voice cracked on the last word. That one caught me. I poured us both coffee, hers with too much cream, the way she'd taken it since high school, and told her the truth. "I'm angry, and I'm tired, but I know where I stand." Becca stayed through Sunday. We cleaned out the garage, something I'd been putting off for 2 years. She found a box of holiday decorations Petra had labeled in her perfect handwriting. Fragile, Christmas ornaments, good ones. Becca held it up and almost laughed. "Almost. She labeled everything," Becca said. "Yeah, she did." We carried the box to the truck. Becca said she'd drop it at Diane's on her way back to school. 2 weeks later, Gilman called with the final numbers. Petra had signed. The house was mine. 14 years of mortgage payments and the documentation of her withdrawals made that straightforward. The $11,000 was credited back to my side of the split. Petra kept her car, her retirement account, and whatever she'd already moved to the separate account, minus the documented amount. Clean. Efficient. The kind of outcome Petra would have appreciated if it had been someone else's life. Oren didn't get off that easy. Margot's accountant dug through the books and found more than just the affair. Oren had been skimming from the business for personal expenses. The catering company was in the middle of a messy dissolution. Donna told Holt that Margot pulled the Bexley County Gala contract and 3 wedding packages in 1 week. Oren's name disappeared from the Waverly Grand's vendor list by the end of the month. The storefront on 3rd Street went dark. No more chalkboard menu in the window. Petra called me once more, a week after signing. Short conversation. "I know you think I planned